Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one, the only, the Azothan, and we're back with another game of Lordaeron the Foremath, a game in the Warcraft 3 engine set just before the events of the Third War, leading through that into World of Warcraft. This allows 12 players to take control of the various factions around the map, 6 good and 6 evil. But as the game continues on and events end up playing out, these alliances become a little bit more malleable, I guess you could say. There will be betrayals, there will be death, there will be excitement. So let's go ahead and hop into this, and I will go ahead and explain who we have playing what races in the very beginning of the game. So let's hop right into it. Alright, going from top to bottom, we have in the brown trunks the Dragonmaw clan under control of Gaitsu. He's on the evil team. Next up we have dark green Uber Madrid controlling the forces of Lordaeron in the dark green trunks for the good team. Randek, light blue, is going to be controlling the forces of the Draenei and the light as a whole, the Silverhand Paladins, etc., etc. Their job is going to be holding on in Outland and trying to distract the enemy evil team as long as they can. They are, of course, on Team Good. Aelol, in control of the Cult of the Damned, will be fighting his own fight here in northern Lordaeron against the forces of Good, trying to hold on as long as he can and cause them as much trouble while holding on to his greater plague cauldron. This will give him money and resources every so often, but it looks like he may actually be abandoning the Skullman's location very early on. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Christian Pakic. Alright, he's in the control of the Ranger Corps right now. In the greenish trunks, looks like he tried to hunt down these red dragons as quickly as possible to steal the creep gold, but he's about to get surrounded by Brown's forces, and if he doesn't pay attention, Haldurin Brightwing could go down very early on in this fight. There's the retreat. Elves are slightly faster. A breath of fire nearly takes him out, and he's going to be running for his life now. A quick bloodied nose for the Ranger Corps. Zika, in the actual green trunks, is controlling the Shadow Council here in Outland, the shadowy magical forces of the Horde. His job is going to provide summons, teleportation, and random support for his allies as the game goes on. Very eclectic race, I think, the Shadow Council, and one of my favorites, just because of their versatility. In the orange trunks, we have the Dark Horde, in control of 2 bastions in the world, one outside of the Dark Portal, here in the form of Blackrock Spire, the other in Outland, with Hellfire Citadel and the Black Temple belonging to him. His job will also be to help kill off the forces of the Silverhand Draenei here in Outland. Alright, moving down further still, we have Galactic in the yellow trunks controlling the forces of the dwarves. Looks like he sent a number of his Wildhammer dwarves, including his griffins. Thank you for the follow there, Primordial Blessing. He sent his griffins up north to try to harass and help out with killing off the undead. He's, however, run into the unexpectedly rogue undead forces, and now he's just going to focus on taking out creeps and stuff, getting himself some extra gold. He's got to watch out, though. Losing those griffins is not inconsiderable. They cost quite a bit of money to make. Moving further down the list, we have the forces of Dalaran in the purple trunks, controlled by the player. Probably not a bear. I think he might be a bear. And I mean that in the sexual way. Anyway, the forces of Dalaran are going to serve the same basic function for good team as the Shadow Council does for evil team, teleporting around the map, providing summon support, and general healing and utility. Lee Jeff here, one of my favorite races, is controlling the forces of the Burning Legion. The Burning Legion starts off as pretty weak. They have some forces scattered around the map, but their biggest strength is in the form of these Nethrezim Elite, which teleport around the world, harassing, taking control points, helping out their allies, and just generally being a giant pain in the ass and hitting where they are not expected, causing corruption and chaos. He's got to be careful, though. An early game brawl with Dalaran isn't going to go too well for him, and as soon as there are Kirin Tor mages out, these greater demons can be banished straight back to the Burning Nether, so we have to be careful. Nukester now in the blue trunks, controlling the forces of the Lich King, on a campaign in the early game to take over Northrend and corrupt as many of its native denizens as he can into the forces of the undead horde that he's controlling. He, of course, is on Team Evil. And Diakartos, not moving all that much, and that's worrying. I believe we might have an AFK player here. Or not. I mean, he's selecting some things. He's gathering up units, he's moved some of his forces, but he's in control of the Blood Elves. The Blood Elves, of course, have the Sunwell under their control. Their job is to protect it because many factions want to absorb the power of the Sunwell for their own purposes, and that is his greatest responsibility, along with helping his Lordaeron allies fight off the undead in the early game. However, looks like the Cult of the Damned, abandoning his base early on, might find himself just a little bit screwed over. Aelol, I know, is not a newbie player, but I have to question his choices here. Already activating his escape teleportation option on Kel'Thuzad, sending him back to Northrend, where he will, thank you Zerator for the 500 bits, buddy, where he will attempt to raise the dread citadel of Naxxramas from its frozen grave and use it to terrorize the human nations. Alright, now let's go ahead and focus on the two big things that we're supposed to be paying attention to. My god, that is zoomed out too far. The Draenei are going to be under assault by the forces of the Outland Horde. That's just unavoidable and very nice move. So I'm going to go ahead and describe to what you just saw here. The forces of the Draenei have the Karunai Scouts, which can drop little tiny trapped wards on the ground. This is great for wiping out an unattentive horde force that might be running after you after a victory, or just someone who doesn't know what they're looking for. However, Zika used his nether dragons to absorb magic on the ground where he knew those traps were, and now he's not only gained mana on his nether dragons, but he's gotten rid of the damage as well. In the north, the force of the undead get completely wiped up, and it looks like Skullmance is probably, pretty wiped out. Alright, fair enough. Let's go ahead and check on the chat here. Nuke is a freeler, no sub, shake my head. Nuke's an interesting one, isn't he? Joan says, Azothan, I see. Oh, hello there, beautiful. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? I really need to get that turned into a PNG image, don't I, Joan? It's kind of embarrassing that that's my emote. And it doesn't have, like, a clear background. Oh, the shame. See, when you at me, it's super obvious for me, at least. For everyone else, it might be like, oh, it's just a white background. It's embarrassing is what it is. Alright, so the forces of the Dark Horde have taken over Kargath right now. I don't see much movement out of the dwarves. Look, they may have... Ah, yes, okay. So the dwarves have conquered the city of Gnomragon and convinced the gnomes to create the Skybreaker, an air superiority unit that's going to be going toe-to-toe with the Black Drakes. And able to summon these flying machines occasionally. I think they're going to have the advantage in this fight, especially if Yellow's smart enough. That's what I wanted to see. Workshops coming up, Griffin Aviaries. The Griffins and the Mortar teams are going to offer him the AoE damage that he needs to wipe out his opponent here. Well, the Dragonmaw's holding their own, but overall the Dwarves are doing a better job of cycling the forces in and out and controlling this. And there we go. Flying machines are able to drive the dragons back. Their light armor no match for the piercing damage the flying machines are pumping out right now. However, flying machines are pulled back into the improved watchtowers, and this will allow them... Oh, will cause them to lose the fight overall. And it's a pretty even brawl right now. I like the positioning of these Serpent Wards that went down from the elite units, the Dragonmaw Enforcers, blocking off some of the reinforcements in that choke point. But right now, excellent aim right now by the Dwarves. You may notice the Siege Engines and the Skybreaker are focusing on taking out these catapults, which are causing the majority of the damage. Once those catapults are gone, and the Dragons as well, Dragonmaw has lost the majority of their damage. And the Dwarves seem to be actually okay. With nearby unit-producing structures, they'll be able to reinforce. Oh, and the flank from the Ranger Corps! They come in, wiping out a few of the dragons, and, oh, God, those frost arrows slowing down the units, allowing them to target them down. Hopefully they don't lose that elite, but you can tell that he wanted it. And I like the focus fire here, making sure to take out the units one by one. Let's check back in on the Draenei. Look like they have... Oh, they may finally be facing the full force of the Fel Horde, activating for themselves these Mana Forge charged crystals. They can not only summon consortium elementals, but any units inside of this globe during its duration are able to become invulnerable. He can also use a spell on that to teleport his units straight to safety, so we'll see how he utilizes this. An Elec Warrior going down, one of the tankiest units in the early game with an AoE potential. There we go. You can see the Elec Warrior trying to move into the back line near these casters, trying to utilize his cleaving attacks and his stomp, but it's not going to work. He will lose that Elec Warrior. But I gotta say, nice hit and run tactics by our Draenei player so far. He's got mostly ranged units. He's losing his Elec Warriors. But good use of the Mana Forge crystals. Usually you don't see anyone utilize this. That just goes for free to the Horde. So this is going to be where the majority of the fighting is, here and with the Dragonmaw. As the Dragonmaw get pushed closer and closer, further and further into their base, it's going to become more and more difficult for the Alliance to make a difference, because the Dragon's Breath Cannon does so much damage and has such an insanely long range. You can see there the statistics in that box. 5,500 range, very slow attack speed, but 600 total AoE damage. If the dwarves keep pushing, they're going to, like, let's see if the Dragonmaw actually, oh, if that hits, that could squish his entire hero group and all of the units for the Ranger Corps. That's all I'm saying. They don't have enough to actually finish this push if Dragonmaw's smart, pulls back and just fights inside the gates and lets the cannon do its work. In the meantime, the longer the Draenei hold on to this base here at Tempest Keep, the more money and resources they are gaining. And it's kind of a delicate balance between how much he wants to invest in holding it. Alright, he's back to his good defensive structures. These light shards do wonderful AoE magic damage. Okay, and kind of shocked that a light blue didn't kill these creeps here at the Ecodome. And immediately a Legion Gateway goes up around the Ecodome. The Ecodome and its aura that it has here prevents any of these lumber structures from permanently dying. So it's essentially an infinite source of lumber in a game where lumber can often be difficult to come by about the halfway point. Still waiting on Dragon Civil Wars. Jorlorn's pretty upset at that Legion Gateway. I'm not sure why. Is it because it's going to make it very difficult for other people to get their units in there? I agree. Lee Jeff is being a dickwad right now by putting that Legion Gateway in there, because it's going to block other people's units from being able to completely surround these resource nodes. It's kind of frustrating. And it looks like the Draenei just bailed out completely. They didn't even attempt to really defend this base. They just left. Alright, that's fine. Now an NPC-controlled Naru is going to do a lot of damage to these Legion players, and I'm sure frustrate them to no end. Alright, heading back up north now. Looks like finally the Blood Elves have left Quel'Tha Lost and are going to help their Lordaeron allies. Now Lordaeron knows what's coming. Because this isn't someone's first time and because people aren't dumb, they are aware that the undead are a thing and that eventually the undead forces are going to come from Northrend en masse and attempt to take over the capital city. Naxxramas has been raised from its grave and is now loading up full of units from the Cult of the Damned. Let's go ahead and check in on our undead player Nukester. He's grouping his units up as well here on the shoreline. Probably be dropping them into boats here in just a little bit. Here at his undead shipyard. Alright. 1-1 upgrades for him. And of course the dwarves have been pushed back because you can't break into Dragon Ma's main base unless you've destroyed the cannon, and he didn't use his air units to destroy the cannon. You know what we should be checking on to see if the dwarves kept their own cannon. Indeed, the dwarven siege cannon at Dun Algaz has not been killed off. This is very rare. Usually, Dragon Ma and dwarves immediately, their air units cross each other, going for those two cannons. It's like playing an old Alterac Valley game, or actually an Alterac Valley game now where everyone just ignores each other and goes straight for the bases. It's painfully reminiscent. Let's go ahead and check back over the land. Dwarves, not fully on the retreat. In fact, Dalaran, now that they have a full group of Tirisfal mages, are able to teleport around the map. Tirisfal agents have a mini mass teleport, but if you have enough of them, you can transport an entire army to an allied unit or army and kind of reinforce on the fly. Now, this is good and bad. The bad thing is that guess who's super susceptible to siege damage? That's right, mages wearing cloth. They're going to eat a lot of D here in a second. And let's see if this is enough to actually make the push through. Gaitis, let's check his gold. He has 4 control points, 1 gold and 1,500 lumber. Looks like he's going to do his best, but if he doesn't receive any help, he may be in trouble. The undead are... Oh, and they trap King Magnai Bronzebeard within the gate. The Orc Gate, and if they focus down Magnai Bronzebeard and he dies here, this could be a devastating blow. But he hops into the Skybreaker and manages to escape at the last moment. That was a slick little save. I gotta give him credit. If I was him, I would have been panicking too much to think of using the Skybreaker. And, God, it's just too much siege damage. The Orc Gate is holding on pretty well. He has to focus. There we go. That was a good shot from the cannon. If he can focus down these groups of mages in the back, he can get purple out of the fight, and he can win this. But it's going to be a tough one. Antonidas continuing to cast AoE spells. Oh my god, Sylvanas Windrunner teleports into the base. What the fuck? Alright, if he's not careful, Sylvanas Windrunner could die here, and I don't think that'll turn her into the undead. I think she has to die to the undead. That is a ballsy goddamn move by Sylvanas here. Just like, ooh, you can't touch me, I'm the gingerbread man. Getting the wrong... may actually just die because she didn't have enough time to get her health. Dumbass. Oh, please tell me that didn't just make Pink totally become evil team. No, okay, because it wasn't killed by the undead. Oh, Lord. Here's the help we needed to see. The Dark Horde finally rallying his forces from Kargath and sending them up north to help his Dragon Ma ally. Oh, Lordy. Lordy landy, I thought we were in a lot more trouble than this. Skybreaker continues its assault since it is immune to the Dragon Maw cannon. It can sit as close as it wants. He should be using the Dragon Maw's cannon to attack these mortar teams, as you can see, blowing one up right there. Taking out the siege is absolutely necessary. Where is Dark Horde? Come on, buddy. Where is Dark Horde? Where's my super suit? Jorlin says, Azothan, he didn't go Forsaken because it was before 15 minutes. Okay, fair enough. And our Ranger Corps player is getting the upgrades on his casters so that he can summon Treants. It's an interesting decision. Usually you want to see them just go for the attack upgrades, but that's okay. And he left the game. He left the game. What? Alright, Ranger Corps is completely out of this now. The caster Ranger Corps build does not seem as powerful as it once did. Thargus and Volmar is the next hero to get stuck behind the gates. Picked up in the Skybreaker and brought back. Oh no, the Orcish Gate is going to go down. He should take all of these workers and start repairing the gate if possible. Gates are non-rebuildable, so once it's dead, it's dead. Come on, buddy. How much money do you have, Gaitsu? 155? I'd use it to repair the gate, weirdly enough. Maybe that sounds odd, but now that the Dark Horde's going to rush up to help, and we also see Legion team units scattering across the minimap here, they should be on their way up north as well. Shadow Council also on the way, and pretty soon I'm sure the Undead and... yeah, this is not good for the Alliance because it's now 5v6. Without the Ranger Corps, they're in a spot of trouble when it comes to aiming down important heroes. And there's the flank. Dark Horde comes in. 1-4 upgrades. He is determined to be the tank. 1 attack, 4 defensive upgrades. He can soak up a ton of damage on his Outland Marauders and his Riders. And here comes Dragon Maw also popping out. Looks like he's bringing Necrolites to the front line along with a bunch of basic grunt units and his elites. This could turn in their favor. Depends on which way Legion goes. I would say Shadow Council and Legion should actually take this western route and try to attack Dunalgaz Station directly, or try to flank the forces that are inevitably going to retreat to it, because right now, this side of the fight is won, and piling more units onto that winning side of a fight isn't going to do much. I think they actually took my advice. Heading up north, just past Kargath, Shadow Council will take out Farstrider Lodge. Alright. The Plague has been launched in northern Lordaeron right now, resulting in several Plague Cauldrons spawning throughout the world. Looks like the Light's Hand and Chapel, they were more than ready to handle this. Uther the Lightbringer and his Paladin forces along with the several Greathawks are trying to fight here in Tirisfal Glades to take out this Great Plague Cauldron. Realizing he needs to focus it down, otherwise it's going to keep summoning more units. He does his best to focus it, but it's got a lot of health. And Noth the Plaguebringer has arrived in Skolovance, along with several other units to begin a brand new assault. Where's the landing forces, huh? It's weird. He launched the Plague, but nobody's in Lordaeron. Anub'arak is still in north, 1,400 gold in his pockets. Shops didn't have TPs, but I'll be there in a second. I'm sure you will. Alol, what about you? You flying over? I can't actually see where he's got Noxuramas parked, but I don't think it's in Northrend. But I also have no confirmation as to where it actually fucking is. Alright, and the Undead Cult of the Damned kind of getting whipped right now. Alright, that's not going well. With Farstrider Lodge destroyed by the forces of the Fell Horde, I'm guessing the Alliance retreats to Dunalgaz Station to utilize that cannon. Dun Morrow now in the hands of the Dark Horde as well. And, oh, here's what I was waiting for. Now that the Plague has been launched, Mal'Ganis begins his assault on the city of Stratholme, spawning a small undead army for himself. He's marched across the eastern Plaguelands, and now he's breaking down the main gate of Stratholme. He's also, the releasing of the Plague also means that undead zombies are spawning within the gates of Stratholme itself. Alright. Noxuramas flying over the mountains, heading towards Capital City now. Ooh, the hammer's about to drop in a lot of places. Dunalgaz is going to get hit, Capital is going to get hit, and Stratholme's under heavy siege right now. I think the forces of... oh, what's this? But the Highborn and some of the forces of Lordaeron decide to flank the Legion's forces here at Stratholme. This may result in the death, because I'll give Randek this. He's produced enough knights to defend this. I think he has just enough... oh, yes, alright. He's bunching his knights up around Stratholme itself, just in case the undead tried to aim it, but that is not happening. And the Highborn, let's see what they've been focusing on attack and defense-wise. Upgrades? No. Sorcerer's upgrades? No. How much money do you have, Dactros? A lot of money. Not spending a whole ton of it. And Untitled Station may go down completely undefended. I thought the dwarves were going to give it a shot, but they've left the game as well. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Alliance has lost 2 of their players. They have now lost dwarves and Ranger Corps. I don't know how they recover from this. What I do know is that the next 25 minutes or so is going to be a rough time if you're an Alliance player. The Legion is now setting up a significant siege force outside of Lordaeron at the same time that the forces of the Cult of the Damned and the Lich King are both arriving here right outside Capital City. Hopefully the Highborn can go ahead and rush back as quickly as possible, but let's go ahead and take a quick pause and check out the upgrades that we're dealing with on each side. Abominations, 0 upgrades on his main units from our Cult of the Damned player. However, all of his casters are fully upgraded, meaning Lordaeron exiles. He's got 3 different forms of summons. He should be fine, and as long as he holds on to these meat wagons, he's going to be in a good position. Our blue player is sitting at only 1/1 upgrades, but hopefully Nukester intends to use that big batch of gold he's sitting on to go ahead and reinforce more units. And in the meantime, Uber Madrid has a significantly sized army in addition to having 5 upgrades. He is 1 upgrade away from being completely maxed out in his defense. He can soak up so much damage. However, the spread that he has right now is extremely disadvantageous. He needs to back up, otherwise he's going to end up losing this fight overall, or he needs to focus down the meat wagons with his knights. One of the two. Alright. And the undead have forced him back into his main base. Alright, Uber Madrid retreating into Capital City with his forces. He realizes he can't handle the undead on his own. Surprisingly enough, Anderhall still stands. Over here we have another one of the Great Plague Cauldrons going down to the forces of 3 different armies. Alright, Lordaeron, Silverhand, and the Highborn all grouped up together to go ahead and take out this tiny little problem, which probably didn't need that many people on it. Okay, that's cool. You do you, buddy. In the meantime, Capital City's getting But this is what's happening to Capital City. It's not good. The Legion has launched a preliminary attack on Azeroth. If I had to guess, it's probably in Alterac Mountains. As soon as Anderhall goes down, this is going to become a base for the undead. There it goes, turning into a bastion for the Lich King. And yes, the Nethrezim Gateway in the Alterac Mountains has been activated, allowing the Legion to send forces directly from the Twisting Nether here through that portal to attack the forces of, again, I'm going to assume Lordaeron's his target. He wants that Book of Medivh in order to summon his Archimond. Not Archimond. Archimond, yes, Archimond. Alright. Right now, the undead are just sort of cleaning up peripheral things around Capital City. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's okay, but... Oh, and the gate goes down! Oh, the city is open to attack, and the undead are going to stream in unabated. Upgrades do favor our Lordaeron player. However, he's got to be extremely careful. He wants to hold this choke point, but the more the undead flood in and sort of prevent him from keeping that choke point held, worse off this gets for him. I don't know if the forces of the Cult of the Damned are going to be able to hold off the totality of the armies that are coming for him right now. Anderhall's doing a decent job of slowing down Lordaeron, Silverhand, and the High Elves. But actually, yeah, God, if they actually don't hurry up, I think Capital City could go down. Cult of the Damned should be helping his ally right now, because Nukester's sort of getting screwed at the moment. So many Risen units, so many undead. Hey, look, Mutated Ghoul. I know who that means is here. Where are you, Professor Putricide? There you are. Again, can we point out, favorite model of the entire game, an Acolyte riding an Abomination. So good. What do you guys think? This is kind of rough. Oh, here comes the Flag Force. The Highborn just straight up ran in, and now if, okay, Alol, come on. Flank the flank, baby. Flank the flank. What? The fuck? Nukester just completely teleported out of there and left his ally undefended. So now, Cult of the Damned is all alone up there. He still has 1,000... Focus Arthas? You just ran from the whole fight. You didn't just teleport a little bit away. You just abandoned your ally completely, and now you're telling him who to attack, Nukester? Okay. This is bad news for Cult of the Damned. And I love the fact that we've got these Greathawks focusing down the meat wagons. That's wonderful targeting. Yeah, I wouldn't stay long, but if you could focus that guy, that'd be great. What a dick move! No, Nukester, being smart about it would have been teleporting back to one of these reproducing structures. Instead, you ran all the way to, back to Northrend. In fact, where is your own forward base here? You don't even have a forward base. Do not tell me about being smart about it. Alright. Call to the Damned getting murdered on the running retreat here, unfortunately. Hopefully he can find himself time to build a shop, get a scroll of town portal or something. Yeah, TP to Anderhall, something. That was still alive at the time. TP somewhere to help your ally, but no. On a whole different continent. Looks like Dalaran has actually managed to push back the forces of the Legion. Sure, he couldn't help back at Capital City, but they didn't need it anyway, because the undead ran away. Dalaran's shield is down, says Lee Jeff. Is it entirely, though? Holy shit, it actually is. Will you look at this? Lee Jeff just pulled off. I don't care if he got pushed back. He just pulled off one of the best things you can possibly do, which is removing all of the arcane shield generators from Dalaran. That means Dalaran no longer has his invulnerability activatable. That significantly reduces the defensive effectiveness of this base. I love the use of battleships to do this, by the way. That is sneaky deaky. Lee Jeff's like, I play purple, I know how to annoy him. And down south, the Legion forces are still focusing on taking out Ironforge from the AFK not here player, so we'll see how long that takes them to do. Admittedly, it's a lot of territory to take over, and they want to make sure it's firmly in their hands, because eventually there is going to be a split. And there has already been a civil war, in fact. The undead are no longer allied to the Legion. So it's just Lich King and Cult of the Damned. Let's see. Silky says, Hi Azothan, have you seen and played the latest version of Sunken City? I have not. I definitely should. What do you think of it? What are like the significant changes? That game is so hard to get through. I mean, you could literally sit and play that for 6 hours. That is like a Dungeons & Dragons campaign-esque thing to do. Stromgarde now under assault by the forces of the Dragon Maw. Alright, alright. About what I expected. Uber Madrid. God. Thank the Lord the undead battleships can't hit Lordaeron Palace, otherwise this would be over. That's something that a lot of Azeroth players used to do. Alright, Diactros. Let's go ahead and check in on the location of all of these people one by one. Nukes are still up in Northrend. Lee Jeff, forces of the Legion have actually broken into Dalaran now, are running around in the Dalaran dungeons. He's got a number of fell beasts here which drain mana upon hit, which is terrifyingly dangerous for the majority of Dalaran forces, forcing him to get siege golems so they can at least stand up to him a little bit longer. However, I remember most things have chaos damage, and the siege golems' fortified armor doesn't mean that much against them. Dalaran forces are doing their best. They're kind of clustered here. Man, this sucks to be Dalaran. Dude, do you not realize most of your forces over here in the corner? There we go. Get in the fight, buddy. Jane is leading the charge. I think Dalaran's gonna take this fight pretty clearly. The question is how much more annoying. Oh, okay. Now he's gone. Using Archimond to summon them back to the Burning Legion. Or summon them back to the Twisting Nether. It was a smart move. They can teleport out later to wherever they have visible and cause more trouble later on. Kim Jun destroying Ironforge. Zika suddenly up north along with the forces of the Burning Legion. I guess he's going to try to help take over Dalaran. He's a little bit blocked in right now by these undead shipyards. Good to see the Shadow Council getting out. Good to see him, making friends again. Really getting out there, putting himself out in the world. Randek has no army as far as I can see, but he's focusing on his paladin upgrades. 3-4 upgrades, nearly. Oh, never mind. There we go. There's the army I was hoping for. He's got militia archers, silverhand clerics fully upgraded for their chain heals, and a small group of knights to tank in the front. He'll be fine. That's a decent force. And he's even got knights running around in Alterac, destroying the demonic portals so that the Legion can no longer reinforce from that way. And now that they know their ally is in danger, Highborn and Silverhand are joining forces to try to help out Dalaran. Oh, this might leave the Shadow Council exposed here. He's building a forward base. He's got summoning prisms up so he can retreat to that base if fights out in the real world go wrong, and he can produce fell sabers as well from there. Silky says, Azothan, I enjoy every little change that appears in the map. There hasn't been any big changes that I personally noticed. Just as you mentioned, it truly reminds me of casual D&D/dungeon crawlers. I'm excited about the small changes in champion balance, that's all. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I do think that siege golems, even with fortified armor, should have something like 2,000, maybe even 2,800 health. I'd be so fine with that. It would actually make them intimidating and give Dalaran a real reason to build them. Right now it feels kind of silly with the amount of fuck my life. Look at this fight. Alright, Geitzi has gotten into a fight here just outside of Dalaran with a force that he absolutely cannot beat. Unless he's extremely attentive with his catapult focusing. He's losing the air battle right now. And he hasn't managed to really contain this in a choke point. There's far more units there. Hopefully Shadow Council will come down from Silverpine Forest to help him since he sees his allies in danger. But there's no visible movement right now. Oh, there we go. I think Zika just noticed that he needs to go help his ally. Oh, and the Legion teleports in. Dreadlord's showing up here. They're going to try to throw their own magic into this. Open up some nether tears and do that AoE damage. Come on, use your elites to open up nether tears and do AoE damage on that crowded bridge. Do it, you dingleberry. There they are, nether tears popping up. Or purple portals. That's gonna do a lot of damage. Now, Lorthamar Theron in the back trying to AoE heal the units on the bridge, and to be fair, Brown's forces are slowly getting chewed away at. Catapults moving in a very dysfunctional manner. Actually scooting up within range of the units that can kill them. That's the majority of your damage. What are you doing, Gatesy? I don't think he notices. They're out of position. Alright, come on. Continue to hold the bridge. Just hold the bridge until Shadow Council comes in and flanks them. Come on, Zika. Dalaran now coming out of his base to try to defend against the Shadow Council's assault, focusing down the shield generator that was slowing and purging his units. That's excellent focus by the Shadow Council. And I don't think either army is really confident enough to push across this bridge until OJ shows up with the majority of his army. All he did is have Magtheridon sticking around here for the experience stealing. Uh-oh. So, okay, I disagree. I think Lord on the Foremath is far better than either of those maps. I don't think Uther died, though. No, he's still alive. He's fine. And Dalaran is pushed back by the Shadow Council, forced into retreat, unable to hold the army. He needs more dispels, as the majority of this army tends to be summons. And based off the number of actual demon units I'm seeing here, I would say that he's staying on top of Grandmaster Vorpal's ability to permanently summon Legion units to his army. It's a surprisingly useful little thing you can do. And the Alliance realizes they have the advantage in this fight. Push across the bridge and force the Dragon Maw and Legion into retreat. Of course, Dark Horde are already up on their way. So this fight could swing back here in just a minute. Let's check on the other players. Uber Madrid. Oh, the Lordy. Now that my hotkeys are done. Lumix says, hey Azothan, long time no see. Yeah, I have not been streaming consistently enough, have I? Embarrassing. Truly. Truly awful. Oh my god, this is badass. I'm sorry, I just love that Lordaeron has streamed in to flank the Shadow Council and that his steam tanks are taking out his fortified base here. It's a nice little forward base. The Felrays need to stay alive. They're not very useful against Dark Green, but they're extremely useful against Dalaran, as they can become tiny little mana flares that do damage to casters every time a spell is cast near them. And they have excellent armor and good defense when in that form. You can just murder a caster-based army very quickly if they don't realize your Fel Rays have gotten close to their casters and turned into the Mana Flares. Dark Green now on the retreat. That's okay. The Alliance is doing their best to hold on, and I gotta give them credit. They've lost 2 of their members, and even with the split between the Legion and the Undead, it's not easy. Hopefully the Dark Horde isn't going to waste too much time killing off a Dwarven base that is not important. Have they already killed it? No. God, please don't focus Airy Peak. Because even then, the Alliance could just activate the special ability on the building and wipe out half an army. Seems to be more fighting going on in the dungeons of Dalaran. Yes, the Legion teleports in once more to harass Dalaran, and Dalaran is forced into the dungeons to try to deal with this threat again. Unfortunately, he is blizzarding his own Dalaran construct there. Careful, Jaina. Lesser demon portals here. He should ideally just break open these magical pens. Let the units loose. Get himself either some gold or distract Dalaran. One of the two. Fine with either. Jorlon, we're going to play some Custom Hero Survival after this. We're not going to get too crazy with it. We're just going to make sure the shoutcasts stay fun again, especially now that we're getting into streaming. I have a great deal of insecurities based around that right now, so we're going to try to make sure that we don't burn ourselves out. And I like Custom Hero Survival, Survival Chaos, the usual boring stuff. Oh, kind of a dick move to line this whole place with spirit towers, but I like it. I confess to liking that move. It's going to be very frustrating for Dalaran to break back in there. Now the forces of the Dark Horde, yep, they went after Airy Peak. Okay, wasting time. Dragon Maw's now moving, taking out South Shore. And... oh, damn! I missed the fact that Silverhand and Highborn all grouped up along with Dark Green to go ahead and wipe out Shadow Council. I wonder if Zika managed to get away. He did. He did manage to escape to the Twisting Nether with the majority of his army. So good on him. The question is how he's going to get the hell out of here and return to the fight. He'll have to either buy a Scroll of Town portal or activate one of the other demon portals to allow him access to the world. I think he's just going to buy a Scroll of Town portal from the Demon Vault. With 12 more gold, though. 22 more gold, though. Damn it. Or he's going to buy a bunch of other shit he doesn't need. That works too, Zika. Alright. Let's check in on the Undead. Still sitting in Northrend, not doing a whole lot. Aelol, are you still regrouping? Yes, he still has Noxuramus. Still getting decent income from that. And it would appear Noxuramus is flying over Kaltiris right now, and he wants to take over the island nation. I don't know how well it's been creeped. Thoroughly is the answer. Thoroughly creeped. So all this will give him is a number of control points and kind of annoying Dark Green with the loss of one of his ancillary bases. Not huge, but I guess it's better than nothing. Legion continues to chase Dalaran out of his own goddamn dungeons. That's my favorite part of today, is the Legion controlling the Dalaran dungeons. Dark Horde, instead of trying to cross the bridge into Dalaran, he's going to leave that to the Dragonmaw clan, and he's going to flank up north, potentially going for Anderhall, sweeping down through the Altrak Mountains, and flanking the forces of the Alliance here while they're held. It's a good idea, but I don't know if the Dragonmaw can hold long enough. There's enough AoE and straight up damage on the front line to wipe out all of his grunts. Ooh, Gaitsu, you've got to be careful. Morgor getting trapped in by his own units on the bridge. It's going to be an issue. Retreat! Run away! Where are your other allies? Seriously, Shadow Council's not here. Dark Horde's flanking up north. We have no idea. Oh, the demons are in Dalaran. The Alliance is having enough trouble just with these guys. Are you flipping kidding me? What's going on? Trying to figure out why there's yellow on the map up here, and I can't. Alright, Undead are now taking out Kaltiris. Fair enough, you guys have fun with that. The Alliance moves out, continuing to push the Dragonmaw forces back, hoping to take out their catapults on the retreat. Hoping to see Shadow Council or demons teleport and try to help out. But I don't have a lot of faith. Ooh, Infernal Machines. Nice. He's using the Tearsfall agents to teleport the Infernal Machines back to the Twisting Nether. Okay, that's tricky. It's going to be really annoying for him to try to get those back in. So they're not dead, so he can't just remake them. They exist. If he wants to get them back in this fight, he's going to have to kill them in the Twisting Nether or figure out a way to get them back here. That's a dick move, and I love it. That is a really clever dick move. And even being able to use that on some of the greater demons here, the Netherzeem elites. Alright, let's see how the Dragonmaw are holding here at Thornton's Wall. Okay. Hey, what's up, Bozo? Good to see you here, buddy. Welcome back. Alright, Dragonmaw is actually getting a decent engagement here with the Highborn and may win this. Highborn has a lot of damage, but yeah, this is a bad position for them to be in. They're trying to aim down Anastarian Sunstrider. There's nothing to stun him unless... Alright, he gets the hell out of there. Good job. That leaves a few units for the Highborn to get murdered. And now with the Dark Horde flanking up north with the help of the Shadow Council, holy crap. Alright, Silverhand Paladin's left alone to deal with this overwhelming army. I will say this, 4 or 5 upgrades for the Silverhand are going to make him very difficult to kill. See, the demons are struggling to make any real impact right now, but Zika did get a full group of Ogre Magi, enabling him to... Oh, they're focusing Uther. Oh, Uther's getting molollywomped. I think he could have gotten Uther if he just stayed in the fight a little bit longer. Are you kidding me? Oh, Uther, like a boss, soaking up that damage, accepting the chain heals, and forcing the enemy away. Oh wait, that's not also Dark Horde. Why did the Dark Horde go north instead of sticking with his ally and being the smart? Now he's going to fight the forces of Lordaeron here at another choke point bridge that does not favor him in the way his army is constructed. Brilliant! Perfect! Alright, let's go ahead and stop this right here, because I think that there is a ton of stuff going on that we're going to have to just address later on. This has been Lordaeron the Foremath. At the moment, we have the Burning Legion breaking into the final gateway in the Dalaran dungeons. They are going to attempt to steal the Book of Medivh. Dalaran continues to try to fight them. Down south, we have the Dragonmaw clan handily crushing the Highborn. The Undead are now destroying Kal Tiras. Silverhand Paladins have managed to temporarily rebuff the Shadow Council, but the Shadow Council is going to flank Ubermadrid, the forces of Lordaeron. They're fighting here outside of Anderhall. I will see you in the next episode, guys. This has been the one, the only, the Azothan. Thank you for joining me for this part 1 of a 3-part shoutcast. Tune in tomorrow for the next part.